facility. The main attraction was a habitat area where the Tasmanian devil now lived in a spacious enclosure designed to mimic its native environment. The creature had grown comfortable in its new home and no longer reacted with alarm when visitors approached. As you can see, Jin explained to the tour group, the Tasmanian devil spends much of its time exploring and foraging. In the wild, they would search for already dead animals rather than actively hunting live prey. Yoon, now Jin's research assistant, added, "We've learned that carnivores aren't simply killing machines. They have complex behaviors and ecological roles." Professor Cole approached the transparent barrier. 3 months ago, he would never have ventured so close. Now he pressed an appendage against the surface with only minimal trembling. "Remarkable," he said, as the Tasmanian devil curiously sniffed at the barrier. "My entire understanding of ecological balance has been transformed." Later that day, Jin sat in a classroom with 15 alien students. These brave pioneers had enrolled in her new course, Introduction to Predator Ecology. On the wall behind her hung a digital map of Earth, with different predator species marked by glowing dots. "Next month," Jin told them, "we will conduct our first field trip to Earth. We'll visit a wildlife sanctuary in Australia where you can observe multiple predator species in controlled conditions." A murmur of excitement mixed with apprehension ran through the class. Many still found the idea of Earth frightening, but their scientific curiosity had overcome their fear. Vine, the plant-based intelligence who had questioned Earth's cruelty months ago, raised a leafy appendage. "Will we be safe?" "Absolutely," Jin assured them. "The sanctuary has special observation areas designed for visitors. You'll be able to watch predators from a safe distance." After class, Jin walked to the university gardens where she found Administrator Naro floating beside a reflective pool. His translucent body glowed with thoughtful blue patterns. "Your Earth Studies program has attracted interest from other universities," Naro said as Jin approached. 3 have requested exchange programs." Jin smiled. "That's wonderful news. When we first admitted humans to our university, many questioned the decision," Naro continued. "Some feared that Deathworlders would bring violence and disruption. Instead, you've brought new understanding." That evening, Jin visited the habitat area after hours. The Tasmanian devil was sleeping, curled into a ball in its nesting area. Jin sat quietly beside the enclosure, reflecting on the journey of the past few months. A soft sound made her turn. Professor Cole had entered, carrying what appeared to be research notes. "I didn't expect anyone to be here," he said, antennae dipping in surprise. "Just checking on our ambassador before bed," Jin replied. The professor settled beside her, his compound eyes reflecting the dim light. "I've been reviewing evolutionary patterns across known worlds," he said. "Most spacefaring species evolved on planets with limited predation pressure. This may explain the common fear response to Earth species." Jin nodded. "And why humans seem strange to everyone else." "Not strange," Cole corrected. "Fascinating. Your species developed amid constant danger, yet you protect the very creatures that threaten you. This perspective has value we never considered." The Tasmanian devil stirred in its sleep, making small noises. Professor Cole watched it without flinching. "Next semester," he said, "I'm planning a comparative study of predator worlds. There are 3 other known planets with similar ecological structures to Earth, though none have produced spacefaring species yet." "I'd be happy to help," Jin offered. "I was hoping you would say that," Cole replied. "Your insight has been invaluable." As they sat in comfortable silence, Jin thought about those first difficult days at the university. How far they had come from the panic of the presentation day. The Tasmanian devil had unintentionally become a bridge between different evolutionary perspectives. Outside the window, the artificial stars of the university biosphere dome twinkled in patterns designed to comfort species from 100 different worlds. Somewhere out there was Earth, with all its beautiful, terrible complexity. And here, in this quiet room, was proof that understanding could overcome even the most fundamental differences. "The humans must be expelled," insisted Professor Maru, head of Peaceful Species Studies. His crystalline body structure vibrated with emotion. Bringing a predator to a university filled with herbivore species shows complete disregard for safety. The creature never left its container, Professor Cole pointed out. His antennae moved thoughtfully. And while alarming, no actual harm occurred. Psychological harm occurred, countered Professor Toole, a specialist in multi-species psychology. The feathered academic fluffed her plumage in agitation. 7 students have reported sleep disturbances after seeing those teeth. Administrator Naro floated above the table, his translucent body glowing with official yellow patterns. Let us not forget why we admitted humans to our university. We seek to understand all sentient species, even those from challenging environments. The debate continued for hours. Finally, Professor Cole suggested a compromise. Instead of expulsion, let us create an educational opportunity. I propose a special seminar where student Jin can explain Earth's ecosystem in scientific terms. Attendance will be voluntary. 1 week later, Jin stood before a much smaller audience in a medium-sized lecture hall. Only 20 students and 5 professors had chosen to attend. The Tasmanian devil was present, but now displayed in a larger, more comfortable, transparent habitat, rather than the transport container. Thank you for coming, Jin began. Today I want to explain Earth's ecological balance and why predators are essential components. Jin displayed a holographic image of Earth's food web. The complex network of arrows connecting different species impressed even the skeptical professors. On Earth, energy flows through the ecosystem in this pattern, Jin explained. Plants capture energy from our sun. Herbivores eat plants, predators eat herbivores, and when any creature dies, decomposers recycle their nutrients. Professor Cole moved closer to examine the diagram. Fascinating complexity, but couldn't herbivores control plant growth without predators? An excellent question, Jin said. Without predators, herbivore populations can grow too large. They overeat plant resources, causing ecosystem collapse. This has happened many times when humans removed predators from environments. Jin showed images of places where predators had been eliminated. Forests destroyed by too many deer, grasslands turned to desert by unchecked grazing animals. On Earth, we learned this lesson the hard way, Jin continued. We once thought predators were simply dangerous and unnecessary. We hunted many to extinction. The results were disastrous. A student named Pell raised a limb. The small furry being had been at Jin's table during the cafeteria discussion. But most galactic civilizations evolved without major predator species. Our worlds maintain balance. Different evolutionary paths, Jin acknowledged. Many of your species evolved on worlds with natural population controls, limited resources, regulated reproduction cycles, or symbiotic relationships. Earth developed differently. Our biodiversity depends on the predator-prey dynamic. The Tasmanian devil moved in its habitat, drawing nervous attention. Jin used this moment to approach the enclosure. This animal is not aggressive by nature, she explained. It defends itself when threatened, but spends most of its time looking for already dead animals to eat. It's a scavenger more than a hunter. Professor Cole's scientific curiosity overcame his caution. He approached the habitat, compound eyes studying the creature's movements. Its jaw structure suggests significant bite force. The strongest bite force relative to body size of any mammal, Jin confirmed. Evolution has specialized them for crushing bones to access nutrition other scavengers can't reach. Another student, a plant-based intelligence named Vine, extended a tendril. On our world, mutual benefit drives evolution. Species help each other. Your Earth seems cruel. Jin considered this perspective thoughtfully. We might have once seen it that way too, but Earth isn't cruel, it's balanced. Death feeds life. Predation strengthens prey species through natural selection. Every creature plays a role. Professor Toole, who had argued for expulsion, watched from the back of the room. Humans evolved in this harsh system. Does this explain your species' troubling history of conflict? Partly, Jin admitted. But it also explains our resilience, our adaptability, and our recent efforts to protect biodiversity, including predators that could harm us. We've learned that understanding ecosystems is better than fearing them. As the seminar continued, Jin noticed something changing in the room. The initial fear was giving way to scientific curiosity. Students asked thoughtful questions. Professors took notes. Even the Tasmanian devil seemed more relaxed, grooming itself in its habitat. Near the end of the session, Yoon, who had been silently observing from the front row, raised a limb. "Would it be possible to touch it?" Jin smiled. "Not directly, no, but I can show you something." She carefully placed her hand against the transparent wall of the habitat. After a moment's hesitation, the Tasmanian devil approached and sniffed at her fingers from the other side. "Understanding," Jin said quietly, "begins when we move beyond fear." 3 months had passed since Jin's controversial presentation. The university campus had transformed with the changing seasons of the artificial biosphere. Purple leaves now adorned the transplanted trees from Florian, and the air carried the sweet scent of nebulite spores. Professor Cole stood outside a newly constructed building at the edge of campus. The sign above the entrance read, "Comparative Ecosystem Studies." Behind him, a small group of students and faculty waited patiently. "Today marks a significant step in our university's mission," Professor Cole announced. His exoskeleton had been polished for the occasion, and his antennae stood tall with pride. "We dedicate this facility to the study of diverse planetary ecosystems, including those with predator-prey dynamics." Jin watched from the front row, feeling a mixture of pride and amazement. What had begun as a cultural misunderstanding had evolved into something remarkable. After the ceremony, Jin led a small tour through the N. Later that day, Jin returned to her room to find Professor Cole waiting outside her door. The xenobiology professor's antennae were twitching rapidly, a sign of agitation. "Student Jin," he said, "I've received several concerned messages about your companion for tomorrow's presentation." Jin sighed. "I followed all safety protocols." "Yes, but perhaps you didn't fully understand the cultural context." The professor's compound eyes reflected Jin in fractured images. "The companion species. Presentation is a tradition that celebrates mutual benefit and harmony. Most students bring organisms that showcase symbiotic relationships. Professor, with respect, I believe it's important to accurately represent Earth's ecosystem. Predator-prey relationships are fundamental to our planet's balance." "Professor." Cole's antennae drooped slightly. "I understand your perspective, but I must consider the comfort and safety of all students. The Tasmanian devil will remain secured," Jin promised, "and I believe the presentation will be educational." After Professor Cole left, Jin entered her room and found Day waiting. "You've caused quite a stir," Day said. "Half the university is talking about the dangerous Earth predator." Jin carefully checked the containment unit where the Tasmanian devil rested. "They don't understand Earth." "Maybe not," Day replied, "but you could have chosen something less frightening. A rabbit, perhaps, or a hamster." "Those wouldn't represent the truth of our world," Jin said. "Earth isn't just about cute, harmless creatures. It's complex. Sometimes harsh. The aliens need to understand that." Day shook her head. "You know why humans were finally admitted to the university? Because they're studying us. They see us as curiosities, survivors from a death planet. Your predator will just confirm their fears." Jin watched the sleeping Tasmanian devil. It looked peaceful now, its black fur rising and falling with each breath. Or maybe it will help them understand us better. That night, Jin received a message on her communication device. It was from Yoon. "Many students are planning to skip tomorrow's presentation," the message read. "They're afraid. I tried to explain, but they don't understand why humans would protect predators. Can you help me understand?" Jin spent hours composing her reply, trying to explain Earth's complex ecosystem and humanity's evolving relationship with nature. She attached images of conservation efforts, predators in their natural habitats, and the delicate balance that maintained Earth's biodiversity. As she finally prepared for sleep, Jin wondered if she had made a mistake. Was bringing the Tasmanian devil an important educational moment, or just a confirmation of the aliens' worst fears about humans? Tomorrow would tell. The day of the companion species presentation arrived. Jin woke early, feeling both nervous and determined. She checked. The secure container holding the Tasmanian devil The small marsupial was awake and alert, its dark eyes watching Jin as she prepared its morning meal. "Today's the big day," Jin told the creature. "Let's show them what Earth is really about." The presentation was scheduled in the university's largest lecture hall. When Jin arrived carrying her reinforced container, she noticed the room was only half full. Many students had apparently decided to skip the event. Those who remained kept a clear distance from the section where humans sat. Professor Cole stood at the center of the room, his exoskeleton polished to a formal shine. "Welcome to the annual Companion Species Cultural Exchange," he announced. "This tradition helps us understand the unique relationships each species has developed with other life forms from their homeworlds." The presentations began. A Florian student unveiled a pot containing beautiful flowers that swayed and produced melodic tones even without wind. The audience made appreciative sounds as the flowers changed colors in response to different voices. Next, a nebulite demonstrated their symbiotic moss colony that floated in the air, absorbing toxins and producing pleasant aromas. Several more presentations followed, each showcasing creatures that were beautiful, helpful, or harmless. Yoon presented a small aquatic plant that cleaned water and changed color to indicate hidden pollutants. "On my homeworld, every household keeps these as both decorations and safety measures," Yoon explained. The audience clicked their approval. Finally, it was Jin's turn. The room grew quieter as she approached the center with her container. Professor Cole's antennae flattened slightly against his head. "This is a Tasmanian devil," Jin said, placing the container on the demonstration table. "It's a marsupial from an island called Tasmania on Earth." Jin activated the container's transparent mode so everyone could see inside. The Tasmanian devil, disturbed by the sudden exposure, opened its mouth wide and made a harsh hissing sound. Its powerful jaws revealed sharp teeth designed for crushing bone. The reaction was immediate. A group of Florians near the front emitted high-pitched whistles of alarm, and their petals closed tightly. Several students from prey species scrambled toward the exits. One professor changed color rapidly from normal green to distress purple. "That's a predator," someone shouted. "A carnivore!" Security drones activated automatically, hovering around. Jin and the container. Professor Cole raised all 6 arms, calling for calm. "Please remain seated," he urged. "The creature is fully contained." Jin waited for the initial panic to subside. The Tasmanian devil, sensing the commotion, had retreated to the back of its container, looking less threatening now. "Yes, the Tasmanian devil is a carnivore," Jin admitted. "On Earth we have many species that eat meat, including this one. But that's not why I brought it." The audience remained tense, but at least they were listening. "This species is endangered on our planet," Jin continued. "Once they were common across Australia, but now they survive only on Tasmania. They face extinction due to disease and habitat loss." Jin displayed images showing healthy Tasmanian devils in their natural habitat. Despite being predators, these animals are essential to Earth's ecosystem. They clean up dead animals, helping prevent disease spread. They keep certain prey populations in balance. More images appeared, showing human scientists working with the animals. "Humans actively protect this species. We've created special, disease-free areas, breeding programs, and education campaigns. We do this not because they benefit us directly, but because we understand that all species have value in maintaining Earth's balance." A brave student raised a tentacle. "But it's dangerous. Why protect something that could harm you?" Jin nodded. "That's an excellent question. On Earth, we've learned that fear often leads to destruction. Many predator species were hunted to extinction before we understood their role in nature. Now we know better. We protect even animals that could harm us, because a healthy ecosystem needs all its parts." Professor Cole stepped forward, his scientific curiosity seemingly overcoming his fear. "Student Jin, are humans not afraid of such creatures?" "We respect their power," Jin answered. "We take precautions, but we don't eliminate species just because they're frightening." The Tasmanian devil had calmed down and was now simply watching. The audience. Some braver students moved closer to observe it. "On Earth," Jin said, "we have a saying, understanding replaces fear. I brought this animal not to frighten anyone, but to help you understand Earth and humans better. We come from a world where life forms eat each other. where danger is natural, where survival requires adaptation. This has shaped humanity in ways that make us different from many species here. Slowly, the tension in the room began to change, to something new, a mixture of caution and curiosity. The faculty lounge buzzed with agitated conversation. It had been 3 days since Jin's presentation, and the university administration was still dealing with the aftermath. Professor Cole sat at the center table, surrounded by colleagues from various departments. The amphitheater of Grand Galactic University hummed with nervous whispers. Hundreds of alien students from across the galaxy shifted in their seats, extra eyes blinking and tentacles twitching with anticipation. Today marked the first time humans would join their ranks. Administrator Naro floated onto the stage, his translucent body glowing with formal blue patterns. Esteemed faculty and students, his voice resonated through the translator nodes, today we welcome students from Sol 3, known to its inhabitants as Earth. A ripple of unease moved through the crowd. Everyone had heard stories about Earth. As you know, Naro continued, Earth is classified as a Class 12 death planet. Extreme gravity by galactic standards, violent weather patterns, tectonic instability, and perhaps most notably, an ecosystem dominated by predator-prey relationships. 4 humans walked onto the stage. They looked so ordinary, so harmless. This disappointed some students who had expected monsters. The humans stood upright on 2 legs with no visible fangs, claws, or armored plating. But everyone knew appearances were deceiving. One human stepped forward slightly. She had dark hair tied back and moved with confident grace that made several herbivore species instinctively edge away. "I am Jin," she said. "My companions are Hoon, Jay, and Sue. We are honored to be the first humans admitted to your prestigious university." Professor Cole, the head of xenobiology, approached cautiously. Unlike Administrator Naro, Cole had a solid form, 6 limbs, exoskeleton, and compound eyes that reflected the humans in multiple angles. His antennae twitched nervously as he addressed them. "Welcome to Grand Galactic University," he said. "We are curious about your species and homeworld, though I admit some of us are concerned." His compound eyes fixed on a reinforced container Jin carried. The container was black with warning symbols and security locks. "Student Jin, what have you brought with you?" Professor Cole asked. Jin smiled. "A small companion from Earth, Professor, for the cultural exchange presentation next week." A low growl emerged from the container. The sound was primitive and threatening. Several students gasped. Professor Cole's antennae flattened against his head. "Is it safe?" he asked. "Completely under control," Jin assured him. "All proper containment protocols have been followed." After the ceremony, the humans were shown to their quarters. The university had placed them in a separate wing, partly out of respect for their unique biological needs, but mostly because few alien students volunteered to room with Deathworlders. Sue dropped her bag on her bed. "Did you see their faces?" "When your pet growled, priceless." Jin placed the container carefully in a specialized holding unit. "This isn't about scaring anyone, it's about education. Most species here evolved in peaceful environments. They need to understand Earth's ecosystem." "Still," Jay said, "the cultural exchange will be interesting." Later that evening, Jin sat alone with the container. She entered a code and the top became transparent. Inside, a small black marsupial paced on soft bedding. Its dark eyes watched Jin as she carefully placed food inside. "Just a few more days," she told the creature. "Then you'll help me teach them about Earth." A knock came at her door. Jin quickly secured the container before answering. It was Yoon, a small alien student assigned as their orientation guide. Yoon belonged to a species that resembled Earth's axolotls, with soft pink skin and external gill-like structures that changed color with emotion. Currently they were pale yellow, indicating curiosity mixed with fear. "The other students have questions," Yoon said. "About Earth, about humans. They're too nervous to ask directly." Jin smiled. "I'm happy to answer questions." Yoon's gills flushed orange with relief. "Good. Also, there's something else. The companion species presentation is very important here. Other species have brought less threatening companions." "What did you bring?" Jin asked. a symbiotic moss. It processes carbon dioxide into oxygen, tailored for my species' biology. The Florians brought singing flowers, the Nebulites brought floating algae colonies. Jin understood the implication. And I've brought a carnivore. Yoon's gills darkened. Is it really necessary? Jin considered the question seriously. Yes. Earth isn't just about danger. It's about balance. Predators and prey. Life and death. The creature I brought isn't just a carnivore. It's an endangered species we're working to save. You protect predators. Yoon seemed genuinely confused. Of course, all life has value. This concept seemed to trouble Yoon deeply. The alien excused itself, gills now pulsing with deep purple, the color of deep thought. Jin returned to the container and made the top transparent again. The Tasmanian devil inside had finished its meal and was now sleeping. We have a lot to teach them, Jin whispered. And maybe some things to learn too. Jin stood in the university's enormous cafeteria, holding her tray of specially prepared Earth-compatible food. The vast room hummed with conversation in dozens of languages, all processed through translator nodes. She scanned the crowded tables, looking for a place to sit. Most alien students quickly looked away when she made eye contact. A few bolder ones stared openly, their various sensory organs fixed on the human Deathworlder. "Jin, over here," called a familiar voice. It was Yoon, waving an upper limb from a table near the window that overlooked the university's artificial lake. Jin smiled and walked over, noticing how other students shifted away slightly as she passed. "Thanks," Jin said, sitting down. "Not everyone seems eager for human company." Yoon's gills fluctuated between sympathetic blue and embarrassed pink. "They're just nervous. Most species here evolved without major predators. The idea of Earth is, frightening." At that moment, Jin's roommate Day approached. Unlike the other humans, Day had quickly made friends among the alien students. She sat down with her tray, accompanied by 3 aliens Jin hadn't met yet. "Everyone, this is Jin," Day said. "Jin, meet Maru, Pel, and Toba." The aliens nodded politely but maintained their distance. Maru, who resembled a tall, thin humanoid with iridescent scales, spoke first. "Is it true you brought an actual predator for the companion species presentation?" Jin nodded. "A small marsupial from Tasmania. It's an endangered species." Pel, a round creature covered in short fur with 6 eyes arranged in a circle, made a sound like a deflating balloon. The presentations are meant to showcase beneficial relationships. Most bring symbiotic species or emotional support companions. The Tasmanian devil represents an important part of Earth's ecosystem, Jin explained. On our planet, predator-prey, relationships maintain balance. Toba, who looked most humanoid except for the feathers covering their body, leaned forward. "But why would you choose something dangerous? The Florians brought singing flowers. I brought a color-shifting moth that helps with stress regulation." Jin considered her answer carefully. "On Earth, we don't just value creatures that benefit us directly. We recognize the importance of all species, even ones that could harm us. The Tasmanian devil is threatened with extinction, partly because humans didn't understand its value." The aliens exchanged glances that Jin couldn't interpret.